Okay.
We live.
All right, we live. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Let's go. All right. What's going on, everyone? This is the DC Incentives Podcast. And you already know what it is. I don't even have to introduce them. Like, you don't even got to introduce yourself. Like, we already know who you are. You the phenomenal, the Dr. Sade Burrell. Man, let's get it. So talk to us, Sade Burrell. What's been going on?
Hey, first of all, I think like this is our third time doing this interview. So like over the past few years, every year around the beginning of the year, we do this interview. I just
Let's
first
go.
of all say thank you to you and your crew for always setting this up. Great way to always start off the new year, and I like the way that we did it this year because kind of it's February, mid-February. People are already starting to fall off a little bit off what they said they would do, and so it's a good time to kind of remind them about what they said they wanted to do, or if they didn't set any goals or intentions. So first of all, thank you for that. Second of all, I just want to take it back just a little bit for the people who haven't watched the other two episodes. First of all, if you get an opportunity, go back and watch the episode back in 2022, 20 and 23. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
22 and 23 20 and the reason why I say that is because it's kind of gonna lead up to like what I'm getting ready to go into a little bit. But I'll catch you up. So like last year in 2023, I was talking about matter of fact, I showed you my whole blueprint for how to finish the doctoral program and like what it instilled in me as far as like uh perseverance, dedication, commitment, etc. Well, like now this year, 2024, 6 months after I did that interview, I finished my doctorate. I was done.
Let's go.
6 months.
Let's
Like
go.
now, I say that because I actually finished my doctorate a year early. I'm not supposed to finish it in 2024. There are people in my cohort who went through the same program I'm in. They're still working on their dissertation, which means they're on time. I finished a year early. Um, and so I set that up because I think it's important because this will let you know, one, who I am, and that the methods that I use and I'm going to speak about today actually do work, and they not only works for me, but the people who actually followed the same trajectory as me in the same doctoral program. They too have finished early as well. So yeah, we'll get into that.
Let's go. Let's go. So you touched on something that I gotta ask, and I know you're gonna drop a gem on this, but you said people's already fallen off, and it's already February. So how can, by the way, Happy Black History Month, everyone. Happy Black
Oh,
History Month. We already know
oh,
this. Yeah. That's 100. Definitely. I definitely gotta say that. Um, so how can, when people fall off, how can it get back up?
yeah. So one, I want to put it in a way where I'm actually gonna talk about two books that actually changed my life. I got both of them right here. Oh, hey, there ain't nothing but a blessing from God. I got both of them right here, right next to them. I'm talking about two books. One of them I talked about on the podcast in 2023. And I'll get into this new one that actually helped change my perspective as well. But what happened? People are gonna fall off, right? So after I finished my dissertation, I was burnt out because I went
Mm,
hard. A lot of times when you go hard and you get this mentality of grind, 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 it's good. However, it's you have to pay for it afterwards, right? It's always for every reaction, right? There's a response. And so when people fall off, because when I graduated, I went to Ghana, and I'll talk about my trip to Ghana later, and how it actually changed my perspective in life. But when I came back, I felt like I fell off. I started a new job. I went from being a faculty member. I was a faculty member and a professor for 8 years, doing that full time, and now I just switched over. Now I'm a dean. So I'm on the admin side now.
you a dean now.
Yeah,
Let's go. Yo, let's go.
yeah.
Let's
So
go.
I'm a dean. But even
Let's
with
go.
all the accomplishments, I felt like I fell off, and I
Mm,
did fall off. Because I was burnt out. Because of what happens is a lot of times it's two things that contribute to people falling off. They either need to instill some consistency in themselves because they never had it. But if you do have consistency and then you accomplish whatever it is you're supposed to accomplish, and you fall off, or you never accomplish it and you fall off, a lot of times it's because you're tired. And so last year, and I'm gonna give you some tips. Last year, the book I talked about was Discipline Equals Freedom, a field manual by Jocko Willink. This book changed my life. This is the reason I finished my program early. And it taught me how to have discipline. It taught me how to have consistency, etc. And so if you are falling off, I highly encourage you to read this book right here.
So for all the audio listeners, Discipline Equals Freedom, field manual by Jockey Will.
Yeah, Jocko Willink. Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, Willing. Okay.
Yep, Jocko Willink. Yep. And so Discipline Equals Freedom, a field manual by Jocko Willink. So if you already fell off, go ahead and order this book. Like, that's the first thing I want you to do. Order this book, because in this book, it talks about just everything that you'll need, right? It talks about like hesitation, not feeling it. Let me go over here. Compromise, the application of discipline. He even gets into like food and stuff like that. Like how the food we eat is our fuel. And when you constantly putting donuts and stuff like that in your body, that's what you're running off of, processed sugar, right? And so he gets a little bit into that and how that takes our energy away. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to feed your brain. If you already fell off, feed your brain with information by reading this. I recommend this book, but there are several other books. So Discipline Equals Freedom, a field manual. That's one recommendation for a book. Then the next thing that you got to do is I want you to find one small task that you're going to do every day. Don't do something big like I'm going to work out every day. You setting yourself up for failure. You've never worked out every day. So why would you say that now? As opposed to saying, I'll work out once a week. I'll read 5 pages every 3 days. Right? Do something small and do it consistently. The reason why is because you need to build your brain and your body back up to accomplishing wins. When you accomplish wins after you fell off, it actually helps you feel as if you can actually do something. So even if it's small. So for example, for me, when I fell off after finishing my dissertation and stuff, I felt like I fell off. Most people say no, you didn't fall off, but according to my standards, I did. And when I fell off, I said, okay, I'm not even gonna have no major goal. Like I was waking up at 4 a.m. every day for 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. And so I said, okay, I'm not doing 4 a.m. right now. My body needs to rest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an effort. I'm waking up at 6 a.m. every day.
Okay.
So I changed it up a little bit because my body was tired. Tired. And I'm going to get into that as well, the importance of taking care of yourself. But I was physically, so I said 6 a.m. I do that. I could do that. But then I started to like not always wake up at 6 a.m. I started getting on Instagram scrolling. And then I would scroll so much that I would be upset with myself because I was late or I couldn't find something. Like the pants I got on, I was late to work because I could not find these pants. And I wasn't even wearing them to work. I just wanted to find the pants. And then come to find out when I finally calmed down, I found the pants. But it's because all of it started with me not waking up on time, me scrolling, right? It's like a downhill battle. So when people fall off, everything else starts falling off too. And they allow everything else to fall off as opposed to saying, all right, I fell off this one day. Let's get back on it tomorrow. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm actually getting ready to take Instagram and all that stuff off my phone because I'm not even posting on Instagram. Like, I'm not really even posting on, I'm just on there looking at memes and stuff like that. And so I'm like, let me take that off. That's a distraction. What am I going to replace that with? Whatever you take away, you replace it. For example, if you stop drinking soda, you replace it with water. You stop watching TV, you replace it with a book.
Yeah.
Whatever way you replace it with.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you causing harm. So those are some of the tips I would give for right now. Get yourself small wins. So feed your brain first by reading some books or listen to audio books, right? A lot of us are always on the move. You know, we got audio books too. And I've been listening to a lot of audio books. And I'll share some of the ones that I'm getting ready to listen to as well later on. But yeah, get yourself some small wins, feed your brain, and stick with that for as long as possible. And once you get in the groove of doing that, then you get back on track with, boom. Okay, now I'm gonna set my goal of I'm not gonna eat no processed, no, I'm not gonna eat no takeout food for like a month. I actually did that one time. I got on social media and I said, hey, I'll pay everyone $50 at the end If you remember that,
Yep. Yep.
if I eat out,
Yep.
all you got to do is hit me up at the end of the month and say, "Did you eat out?" And I'm not gonna lie, like I'm
Mm,
not. And that's just I don't like it. There's two people I don't like in this life: a thief and a liar. Because if you could lie, you
mhm,
can steal, you could lie. I'm not either of those, right? And so,
mm.
out of all the people who said there's only one person hit me up and was like, "Sade, did you eat out?" And I didn't, because I knew if I had 10 people that said, "Sade, did you eat out?" That's $500 gone. And I don't like giving out money, wasting money like that. So like I have to be drastic for myself. So if you're not that type of person, start small.
Talk about more like you being like when people being burnt out. What should they do? Because especially for like solo entrepreneurs, right? You know how they get burnt out. Life hits them, and then they work, and then they build in a business. Yeah, just talk about more of like being burnt out, and then they have to manage their time, and talk about that.
Yeah, so burnout is like I said, writing my dissertation, when you're in the process, you don't always feel it because you're so used to doing it. Go, 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 go. But when you get a moment to finally sit down, you like, oh, like you never realize how tired you truly were. And what I'm learning now as I grow and as I mature is how do I stop myself from being, oh God, this feels so good? Because after I finished my dissertation, it was like, oh, I let everything go because I was so burnt out, like tired. And so when I was in my doctoral program, this lady, shout out to Lon, um, she was like, we live in a capitalistic society, and these capitalism is trying to do this. And I was like, I like capitalism. Like, shoot, I like making money. I like knowing that if I do X, Y, Z, I'm going to get this type of return. And so
Mm,
I didn't. So we would go back and forth in class, and she was like, "No, like capitalism is good to a certain point." I was like, "Yeah, you're right. Like, I'm not talking about capitalism to a point where it's destroying people. I'm talking about capitalism to a point where when my family's able to grow and eat, and we not killing other people off." And she began explaining to me that capitalism actually that the work ethic and the grind culture actually comes from an unhealthy level of capitalism. And so I was like, man, you tripping.
that's
I'm
a
like,
ball.
I didn't believe her at first. I was like, man, you tripping. And so then as we're in class, I'm very stubborn. I don't listen to nobody in the beginning, but after a while I'm like, let me look into this for myself, because when I argue a point, I like to make sure I got all my ducks in a row. I know exactly what you're talking about, and you can't come and try to loop me around. And so
Mm,
she said, y'all need to read this book called Rest is Resistance, a manifesto.
okay.
What? This is the book. Rest is Resistance, a manifesto by I can't pronounce her name. I'm to see. I can't say her name. Her last name Hersey. Hersey. I can't say her last name. Rest is
Okay.
a
Rest
man-
in resistance. All right.
so she is the founder of this. If you get a chance, go on Instagram. She has a thing called the NAP Ministry, NAP, NAP Ministry. So if you go on Instagram, it's like at NAP Ministry. And so I bought her book, started reading a few pages, and I'm like, oh snap,
Mm,
this is life changing. However, I'm already on this train to graduate early, so I don't have a choice but to stick with what I'm doing right now. However, let me read a few more pages. So I started reading her book a little bit, just a little bit. But I said, you know what? I got this trip to Ghana planned, and I'm gonna read that book in Ghana. And as I began reading this book, and she talks about the grind culture, and she is not a fan of the grind culture, hates the grind culture, and she tells us one thing. She said, y'all need to lay y'all ass down. She always said, y'all need, go lay down somewhere. She said, y'all zombies, like y'all being tricked into doing right. We are not machines. We should not
mm-hmm,
be grinding. We're not machines. Now, I actually do love the grind culture. I love
mm,
the grind culture. I love the grind. I love to work hard, but I also love to rest. And so, what I like to consider myself is I'm in the middle of the grind culture and the rest culture. I'm in the middle of it. When it's time to go to work, I go. When it's time to rest, I go. I do. Right. And so I don't pull down either culture. But this book right here is teaching me to rest, which is why you have not seen me a lot on Instagram really posting like that. And then sometimes when I do post, like if I post a picture or something like that, it's not always a long caption or something like that, because I'm at a point where I'm not gonna let the little rhythm thing tell me who gonna see my content, who not gonna see my content. I'm gonna produce what I produce, and whoever sees it, it was meant for them to see. Right. And the stuff that I'm producing is gonna be out there for a long time to come. Right. And then I'm producing on platforms that I don't own. So don't even get me started on that. So when it comes to burnout, here's some things that I began to do. One, again, feed the brain. You need to learn techniques on how to take care of yourself. You have to first learn techniques on how to take care of yourself. So one of the things I started doing was, and I understand, I'm gonna give some options that are free. I'm gonna give some options that are not free. So the first thing that I do is I have a membership to a massage place. And I get my massages. But I was doing a terrible job at it. I was paying this monthly fee, and I wasn't going. I didn't go for like 6 months because I was so caught up in the culture. But now what I've done is I've scheduled time in on my calendar to go get the massage. Now you like, Sade, I ain't got no money to do no whole massage thing. What I want you to do is, what you can do is on your calendar, especially if you're caught up in the grind culture, is you can schedule time for you to go for a walk. You can schedule time for you to sit in a park. You can schedule time for you to sit and do nothing. Turn your phone off. Turn social media off. Turn all that stuff off. Another thing, if you feeling burnt out, your butt should not be on social media unless, like, the only thing I keep on my on my phone is like YouTube. One, so I can keep watching this podcast, right? Shout out. And then two, the other reason, the other thing that I keep on is like Spotify, so I can listen to podcasts and stuff like that. Like, that's feeding my brain. I'm not listening to nothing crazy, but all the Twitter and all this other Snapchat, all that stuff all got to go off, because it's contributing to you being burnt out. Because what happens is when you scroll, you start seeing people and you like, oh man, they doing better than me. I legit was on Instagram yesterday, and my sisters and them, they all went out. I didn't go out with them because, one, I don't like clubs anymore. Like, I'm getting too old. I don't like clubs like that. I just don't like it. And then two, I keep the Sabbath, which means I'm in church all day on Saturday. And so they went out. My three sisters went out. They start posting the pictures, looking fly. I mean, fly. I'm like, oh, my sister's looking super fly. I'm like, dang, I wish that was me. Dang. And then I went in my closet, was looking for an outfit. What would I wear if I had went out with them? All this stuff. And then I started realizing I'm comparing myself. Like, that's burning me out. Like, why am I up after church looking at a club dress that I could have worn? Like, that's right. So I said, okay, let me get up off this thing. It's contributing to me burning out, because now instead of me resting, I'm up looking at old club dresses I used to have, right? Like, so you got to be careful with that. As you begin to feel the burnout, you have to chill and stop and give yourself a stopping point. And if you are like me and you're in the grind culture and you love the grind culture, give yourself, like I told myself, for 30 days, I was waking up at whatever time I wanted to wake up at. 30 days. Because I knew I couldn't say, oh, I'll just do it. I had to give myself 30 days. You wake up whatever time you want. On weekends, one time I slept my body was so used to waking up that the latest I could sleep was 7 a.m. I couldn't sleep longer than that. But then one day my body got so like toe up that I slept to like 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. I slept to 10 a.m. So set yourself a time on when you're going to come back to the project in which you have at hand. But especially as a solo entrepreneur, that stuff is hard. You got to take these breaks. You have to take it. I get it. And that's what I'm telling you, stay off social media, because social media is the one that's going to be preaching to you and telling you, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. You got half these people don't even have real businesses. They or even if they have a business, it's not sustainable. They don't have sustainable businesses. They don't have they don't have the same life as you. And so that's what I'm saying. Comparison is the thief of all joy. I literally cut everything out. Even like speaking. I was still speaking. But you know what I did too to stop burnout? I started raising my prices because I was burnt out. So if I gotta leave, you paying a hefty price.
Mm.
Whatever price I told you last time, it was for me to speak.
10K. It
How
was
much?
10K. It was
Oh,
10K.
double that. Yo, that go. I shouldn't even be telling my business. Go on my like the last major speaking engagement I had. It was 20K. That's how much they paid me. 20 minutes of speaking. 20K.
Huh?
I'm not.
20K?
I'm.
20K?
You,
20K to speak?
yeah.
Listen,
Where is it? Oh man, I
hold
don't
on.
have it on me.
20K to speak? Let's go.
Because I
Let's
was
go.
burnt out and tired.
Mm.
I said, if I'm gonna go speak and present, then like this is what I have because I'm tired. It was 10 last time you seen it. It's 20 because I'm tired. Now there are some organizations I'll still speak for like 10, you know. But like if I gotta go out of my way, oh my goodness, I gotta pay for I gotta pay for a nice vacation for me and my kids after. Cause I'm tired. And if you're not in that in that situation where you're like, okay, I can get paid 20K, I get paid 10K, I get paid even 1,000K. If you're not in that predicament, like I said, there are a bunch of free things that you can do. Take your butt to the library and just go take a nap.
Mm.
Chill out. Go sit down somewhere. Stop feeling like you have to post all the time. Stop feeling like you got to learn something. I know you like Sade, you just told me to feed. But sometimes burnout is from learning too much. And sometimes people are processing information so much that they never even get a chance to complete it. That's what I'm saying. Read a book, finish it, process it, and then stop, chill out, and take whatever principles are in that book and begin to implement them right away. But if you to a point where you burnt out, where it's like, hey, I can't even do X, Y, and Z, then just, have your list of books that you're going to read and set a timeline and when you'll read them. But do not push yourself through, especially because I'm getting older. I can't, my train don't run the same way it did when I was in my 20s. And so I had to sustain this, especially as Black people. We have to sustain. We have a high rate of heart disease. We
Yeah.
have diabetes. We have
Yeah.
all high blood pressure.
Yeah.
And so when we burnt out, chill. Just relax. Whatever's going on is still going to be there. At my job, I don't answer emails after I'm off work. If they text me after, what time? I'm not responding because I have to set these boundaries so that I can come back tomorrow. And so,
And I like,
go ahead.
no, go. And I like the way how you said that too, right? Is because I remember last time we talked about Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is closed at Sunday. That's their boundaries. We close on Sundays. Don't call me. You want chicken sandwich? Nah, you can get it on Monday. We need to rest. The
Right.
business needs to rest.
And you know what? And this is the part of capitalism that actually is not healthy, which is what my friend was talking about. I don't know if it was New York. But I heard it's some bill going out that they're trying to force Chick-fil-A to open up on Sundays.
I believe. Hold on. Now, hold on. Really? Really?
Yeah, while you looking that up, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background. That way you can find the logo and interrupt me as soon as you find it. But they were trying to force Chick-fil-A to open up on Sundays because they're like, hey, we need X, Y, and Z, and they're like, no. Chick-fil-A was like, we would rather leave the whole state than to open up. This is our boundary.
Yeah, it's some locations in New York, not all locations in New York. Yeah,
but it's some, right?
Some, yes.
Right. But Chick-fil-A is standing on their business. They're like, we're not opening on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because they believe this is a day we want to be closed. And if you have bills and rules and regulation that go against the boundaries in which we set, then we can go somewhere else. And that's the type of mentality you have to have for yourself. This is the boundary. This is where it's at. And if you cross it, you have to have such a strong mindset I'm gonna get into this too, core values. Your core values have to be so strong that you don't waver. And you don't say, oh, well, I could. If I reply to that email, that's $20,000. I'm telling you this now. You can send me an email right now for a $40,000 speaking engagement. And you have to say, Sade, you have to answer before 7 p.m. tonight. I won't be speaking.
Let's go. That's it. That's the boundaries, though. That's your boundary. Listen, I'm not answering. That's it.
And you don't have to be rich, middle class, or anything to do this. You can actually do this even when you don't have. In fact, in order for your boundaries to get stronger and stronger and stronger, you got to start somewhere. All right. So, for example, I remember when I didn't have boundaries, I was burnt out. My first out-of-state speaking engagement, it was in Kansas City, and I was paid $900 to speak. $900 to speak, and they paid for my plane ticket, and they paid for my hotel. And I had to fly my videographer out. I had 2 videographers. I flew both of them out, and I had to pay for their hotel. And so I didn't make any money off of that. I had to pay for 2 tickets and hotel. I didn't make any money off of that. And so I lost in the end. You lose in the end when you don't have boundaries. Think about it. Even in your job, like let's say you're a solopreneur. Think about all the favors you've done for people. You like, hey, don't worry about it. I'll do it for free. Those are the biggest headaches. The free would do it for free. Don't worry about it. I won't take care. They seem to have the most stipulations, the most rules, the most, well, we need you to sign this document. It's free. Why you got me signing these documents? You do set boundaries like, hey, I'm not doing that. Then it's like, it's one paper you got signed. We'll see you at the event. Oh. And so I'm telling you, you have to set boundaries from the beginning. And you set boundaries by understanding who you are as a person and setting up your core beliefs. So for example, I don't speak on Saturdays at all. I don't fly on Saturdays. I don't do anything on Saturdays but go to church. That's it. That is at the core of my belief. I'm a Sabbath day keeper according to God's law, and that is what I'm going to do. You can't. There. Someone said to me, "What if someone offers you $1 million
on a Saturday?" No.
It's easy.
Wait, hold on. I got it.
It's easy, right?
What's your answer? What's your answer?
I don't know. Right? So it's like, so because that was my response, you know what I had to do? I had to sit down and get more in the books. In the book, I had to start studying the Bible more, the scriptures. I had to get my spiritual mind right, because I'm just being honest. I'm not even gonna sit up here and lie and be like, yeah, it would be no. Because I was wavering. Let me get my mind right. So if I'm ever put in this particular this situation in real life, I can confidently say no. But I like $1 million. So you mean just one? $1 million? That's all I gotta do is miss one? It was wavering. So I gotta go back at my core beliefs and look at boom, boom, boom. I have, the 5 core beliefs, whatever you believe, boom, boom, boom. And when you start to waver in those core beliefs, that's when you go back and you do a lot. I like to do a lot of self-reflection. That's what helps me from burning out. Self-reflection. Like, why is this important to me? Why do I need to do this? Right? And it can't be some broad answer like, I'm building a legacy for my family. What? You need to pay your light bill. You talk about legacy. You need to pay your light bill. What do you mean, Bill? I'm building a legacy. I'm doing this for my children. No. Like, boom, let's start with something small. Like this, I'm doing this because I truly believe that this is what I was put here on earth to do. But in the interim of me doing this, what else can I be doing to make sure that my life is on track?
I have to get back on $1 million though, right? Because now I have to think about what you just said. If someone would have gave you $1 million, that means they are so I feel like that $1 million is inconveniencing your time and your day, because that is your boundary of what you set. in tone, right? So, do you think that price should go up?
With $1
In
million, you can buy a lot of time and
fact,
inconvenience, and things that can stop you from being inconvenient. So like with $1 million, if you remember, like 15 years ago, $1 million was like a lot. But we hear $1 million so much we don't realize like it's still a lot of money, right? Um,
mm,
but like for me, this is why again I had to go back because I'm like, with $1 million, I can buy time. With $1 million, I could buy. I can figure out the inconveniences that I have,
mm,
right? And so it's this audio book that I was reading. God, it was, oh man, I forgot what it's called. Something millionaire. I forgot. But she was talking about like the inconveniences. So like for example, she was talking about how as people, like there are things that we could do. We could, oh God, well she, I don't know how she said it, but basically there are things that we could do even now in our current state right now that are inconveniences and time eating things that we do. Like for example, uh I have a house cleaner. She comes once every 2 weeks. Miss Esperanza, love her. She's great. She's been with my family for about almost 8 years. And when I tell people like, oh, I have someone to help clean my house with me, like, because my house has to look a certain way. Like, I just
mm,
can't live anytime. I just can't. I grew up real poor. We had roaches. We had the rats. I just can't go
mm,
back. So I'm like, okay, my house has to be a certain way.
mm,
Now, Miss Esperanza does not keep my house a certain way. I keep my house a certain way. Her only job is to maintain what I've already done. Now that the inconvenience in time it takes for me to continuously upkeep when I could be working on something small, like not small, but like I just got off work, I'm tired. Let's say my house needed to be clean. Miss Esperanza could come do that while I'm on the computer, um, looking at the receipts that I need to be reimbursed from my business, right? Versus me cleaning and then also having to do that. Now people think you got to be rich to have a house cleaner. You don't have to be rich to have a house cleaner. Man, back in the 90s, all you had to do, and I shouldn't even say this, but back in the 90s, all you had to do was buy somebody a 40, they clean your whole house for $20. Like that's it. Oh, and so like that's it. They clean your whole house. So like subleasing, even my kids, they're old enough now where it's like, all right, look, y'all do X, Y, and Z. So the $1 million, back on something with the $1 million, the $1 million it's still a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and it makes you think. And a lot of people might come on here and lie and say, "Oh, I'm so caught up in my core values that I wouldn't even flinch for $1 million." And I'm like, no, but I do have a friend who has not missed a Sabbath day in 8 years.
mm.
In 8 years, and and if I asked them that question, I truly believe that they would say, no. You put $1 million in front of me, I wouldn't want it because I wouldn't miss a Sabbath day because of that, and I would believe their answer because I look at all the things they're around a lot of people, a lot of different people all the time, and their morals and values are questioned every time they go into those environments because that's part of their job, and they stay strong every time.
Gotcha, gotcha. Let's talk about more of um the five pillars of when you fall off, right? Let's give them the five pillars. When they fall off, what should they do?
Say that again.
What are the five pillars? Finance, faith, fitness, of when they get back up. Like, when when they have a goal to reach for the year or 2 years or 5 years or thinking long term, what are the five pillars?
Well, I can tell you like how the five pillars actually keep you like in line. So like Jamal King, he rose with ET and all of them. He talked.
Absolutely.
Let me see. Family, faith, finances, fitness, and
Freedom.
freedom. Freedom, right? Yeah, freedom, right? Those are the five pillars. And so he actually had an app called the Five Pillars, and I was on his challenge. And basically, he was saying every day you should be doing all five. That when you let one fall, it's actually not good. And so I was doing that for a while. I did all of them. I did the family. Okay, what can I do? And I don't have to be nothing big. Like, what can I do with the family? Okay, we drive to work. We drive to school every day. Let me be intentional about asking about their day when they get in the car. When they say something like real basic, like, oh, it was good, question them a little bit more about that. So spending time with my family. I can do that every day. Finances. That's as simple as checking the app, your bank account, stuff like that. Like today I had to send some money to someone. I'm in their I'm in their wedding, and so I had to send some money to someone. So I had to check my bank account, make sure, boom, this is gonna be good. Then the second one, the third one, fitness. All right, I'm getting ready to go to the gym after this. I've been trying to do it. Even if I can't, like, go directly to the gym every day, can I do 5 push-ups? Absolutely. Can I move my arms? Can I do something like real small and take a 5-minute walk? Absolutely. And then the fourth thing, uh, family fitness, family fitness. I know freedom's in there. Freedom. Um,
Faith.
yeah. So let's talk about freedom. So like, what
Hmm.
activity can I do today that's going to get me to freedom? So
Okay.
that could be anything, like I gave the example about how Miss Esperanza comes and clean. I get on the computer, I'm able to look at my receipts and reimburse myself through my company because I paid for something and then the company needs to reimburse me. Well, that allows me to have some type of freedom, right? Later on down there, because I'm keeping my finances and I'm keeping my finances in check. I'm ensuring that, hey, I'm not overspending, I'm not doing this, etc. That's going to help me get to the freedom that I want. Another version of freedom that I love, I absolutely love, is I actually go on vacations every year. And next year, or no, actually this year, I want to go on vacations more frequent. Like last year I went to Ghana. The year before that we went to Peru. The year before that we went to Cartagena, and this year we're going to Japan and South Korea. Right, and so like the life in which I've set has allowed me to have that level of freedom. So, family, freedom, fitness, finance, and what was the other one? Let me finish. I forgot the last
So finance, fitness, faith.
faith. There you go, faith. I don't. Ooh, God, please forgive me for that one. Faith. So one, faith. My kids are really, really involved with the church, and not because I made them be involved in the church. In fact, half the time, I'm involved with the church because they're heavily involved in the church, right? And so like again, I talked about keeping the Sabbath. We have certain days. I think like throughout the week. I think the only day we are not at the church is actually on Wednesdays. Yeah, right. So we're always contributing something to the church. We're always ensuring that our values and what we're doing are aligned with what God wants, right? Not my will, but God's will. Right. And so just constantly keep ourselves in check, even with that. That's every day. Every day. A lot of people don't notice, but we pray every day at a certain time. Um, we pray every day. It's in the Bible. It talks about, actually, a lot of people don't notice that most Christians should be praying every day at 9 and 3. But right now, because in California time went back, it's actually 10 and 2:30. But when time goes forward, it'll be back to 9 and 3. Why? The Bible actually says that at 9 o'clock is when Christ went on the cross, and at 3 is when he passed away. So we pray every
Mhm.
day at 9 and 3 to thank God for the sacrifices in which He made for us to be here on earth. So right, so that's a given already. So you see how my in my life I inject the 5 pillars, and there are days where I fall off, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't work out today. But I think the biggest part of about this, and even when we talked about burnout, is not to people should not like dwell on the things that happened in the past. It's a reason why the front of your car window is bigger than the rear view mirror.
Mm.
Right? It's a reason. It's because we should always be looking forward. The rear view mirror is small. The back of the it's small. The window in the back is small. Why is the window up front big? Because it's more that you should be seeing. But people dwell. They dwell on the things that happened in the past. Oh, I didn't. Then that's actually right. How people begin. I don't know if you ever met people who did the weight loss surgery, but they'll gain the weight back. Um, Sometimes, but the people who have not gained the weight back, I asked them a question like, 'cause that's not easy. Like I'm on this journey right now to be healthy, and you throw a burger from In and Out in my face, I gobble that right on up. And so I started talking to people like, how do you do it? She said, well, if I ate a cookie today, I'm not gonna be depressed about it because that's what's gonna have me eating a cookie tomorrow. And the next day, I ate a cookie the other day. Let me just keep doing it. So when I don't do something in the pillar, then I don't dwell on it. I say, okay, cool. What happened yesterday? Self-reflection.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So I want to take more of like personally, not business wise, but personally. How can we take care of ourselves then?
Oh yeah, taking care of yourself personally. Again, like I talked about earlier. First of all, you got to find out what brings you joy.
Mm,
We skipped that part. And what I would do to take care of myself is the first thing I talked about reflection. I reflect so much. My friend said to me, "Dang, Sade, 18-year-old Sade would be so proud of you. 12-year-old Sade would be so proud of you."
mm,
And I made this post on Instagram. I said, if you had 3 words to say to your younger self, your younger self, what would you say? And my 3 words, it worked out. Because I used to stress so much when I was younger, not realizing that all this would work out. Like, if someone had a crystal ball and they were able to show me my life, and they say, hey, look, this is what your life going to be like. Boom, boom, boom. I wouldn't have cried not one day. And
mm.
what I began doing was living my life as if I already know what's about to happen. And so you have to enjoy these moments right here, right now, and realize that your younger self is very proud of yourself. Allow your younger self to give your older self a hug. Right. And sometimes, how do you give yourself a hug? It comes in all types of different forms. Some of us need therapy. I'm a big fan of therapy. My whole life, I've been in therapy to help me with my personal life, to help me deal with the trauma in which I've endured from a childhood all the way to adulthood. And when I would see a therapist, I would just go to therapist because I went to therapist just so I could have a human there and I would talk and I didn't seem crazy because it was a human there and they have
Yeah.
to, they getting paid. I did that for I did that for almost 20 years. I did that. 15,
Mm,
20 years I did that. But then this past, while I was in my doctoral program, mentally, that program was messing with me because if anyone's ever been through a doctoral program, that stuff is hard. You
mm,
start yourself whether you're capable and all kind of stuff. And I met this therapist, Nigerian man. Shout out to Dr. Ola. He challenged me. He began to use methods on me. Dialectical behavior therapy, which is DBT. And I know about this because I was a social worker and I learned about mental health. So I know about the different forms of therapy. He used DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, which forces me to slow down. This is dialectical behavior therapy is actually for people who are real fast. Like entrepreneurs all need to be in therapy using DBT. All of them.
mm.
If you get a chance on YouTube, after you get done watching this video, go and type in DBT, dialectical behavior therapy. And it is life changing. So he began using DBT on me, changed my life. Another thing I would tell people too to help them with their personal life is this is what DBT talks about. They need to have radical acceptance. Did I talk about this last time or no? Radical
Yeah.
acceptance?
Nah.
Ooh, let me talk about radical acceptance. I went to this event on Friday, all black educators in San Diego, which is rare. And someone said to him, how do you manage to work in a system that purposely suppressed you, that held you down, etc., as a black man? That's what they asked him. And he said, well, the first thing is forgiveness is everything for me. And then he goes into forgiveness. I said, oh, no. What he's talking about is radical acceptance. I actually talk
Yeah.
about radical acceptance. Let me explain what radical acceptance is. Radical acceptance is this. Let me ask you this. If I got a bucket and the bucket is full of snakes and you put and I put my hand in the bucket full of snakes and a snake bites me, should I be mad?
No,
Why not?
because the bucket is around snakes.
That's radical acceptance. I already in nature.
Woo! Wow.
That's
Okay.
that's in your nature to be like that.
Mm,
A lot of times what happens is we get burnt out, we get tired, our personal lives is all different ways because instead of us accepting people for who they are, we try to paint a picture about who they really are. And then we get mad at them. We paint red flags green. Radical acceptance is saying, I know how you are. It's not good, it's not bad. That's just who you are. Radical acceptance helped me forgive a lot of people, and it helped a lot of relationships that I have. Like, my expectations are different for you than for someone else. Like, it's different because radical, I already know how you are. I know how you get down. Right? Like, why would I put someone who had a record for stealing in my home? Like, my homegirl years ago was like, you won't believe it. My daddy stole my TV. I ain't seen him in a week. I said, girl, did you tell me he just got off crack? She said, yeah. Girl, he was going to do that. Girl, your TV is gone. Like, had you accepted the fact that, yo, my dad ain't in a good space. He gonna probably steal from me. It's better for me to put him in a hotel than for him to come to my house. That's radical acceptance. Versus you getting mad. Now you mad at your dad and you don't have a good relationship with your dad because he stole your TV. It's like, no. Yeah, he wrong. But radical acceptance is not excusing the behavior. It's acknowledging the behavior. I'm not saying that it's okay for you to steal the TV. But what I'm saying is that I know that you are capable of doing that. So I'm not going to put you in a situation where you can steal my TV and run off.
Okay. Crackheads. Shout out to Jupiter. On fam. Shout out. Head can't be left unattended. You can't even blink, huh? Blink long, something might come up. Listen. And also shout out to the peeps that's listening on Instagram Live also. Shout out to Phonetic Wisdom. When she comment, I can't really put it on the screen, but I definitely see a comment. Definitely shout out. So can we talk? All right. Now that you said radical, say that again, radical acceptance, right? So that's like when you get into dating or when you get into a relationship, something like that, right? And you see the red flags, and then you've been with this person for like, let's say, months and months and months, or a long time or something like that, that leads you blind to the red flags, but you like this person. So you're going to stay with this person. Am I correct? Or is it something different?
Yeah, so radical acceptance is recognizing who that person is and accepting them for who they are, and not giving them more, not giving them less. This is who you are, and this is what it is. How we move away from radical acceptance is when we began to say, I know that this is who you are, but I believe in you. So as someone who speaks on stages and encourages people to change their life, radical acceptance was hard for me because I have a belief that everyone has the ability to change. And everyone does. But not everyone wants to, and not everyone has resources or means to change. Right? So people say, well, we have the internet, everyone has access. You see how Instagram is. If you like and ratchet videos, you don't have access to this podcast. You don't have access to, like, your YouTube ain't popping up stuff that's going, so you don't have access to these things. You don't have the resources, which are like the books I told you to read. You're not going to have access to this book, Discipline Equals Freedom, a field manual. You're not going to be able to have access to the book, Rest is Resistance. Like you're not going to have access to those things, right? Because you didn't hear, and you don't have, these are resources in which I'm giving. So radical acceptance saying, hey, you are, this is who you are. I accept it. No less, no more. That's it. If there's a snake and a snake is going to bite you, it's going to bite you. A snake is not going to walk up to you and be like, you know what? You look nice. I'm not going to do that to you. A snake, it's not what a snake does.
To keep pain from turning into suffering.
That's right. Yeah, right. It is. It's distress. Right. And so that's, thank you for bringing it up. So basically, think about it. The reason why we all stressed out is because we don't have radical acceptance. Radical acceptance actually said, hey, you know what? if I accept you for who you are, like you good people, I know I can trust you. You know I'm good people. You know I can trust you. So if I like, you know my morals, you know my values, I know I can trust you. So, but let's say I was a grimy person. I'm super grimy, and you borrow $20 from me. I mean, I borrow $20 from you, and I don't pay you back. Now you're stressed. That's why I don't let people borrow money, because I already know how you are. I'd rather just give it to you to prevent me from being stressed out. So it prevents you from being stressed and from you getting your high blood pressure up, you getting diabetes. Now it's like, all right, cool. This is who you are. No problem. I accept you for who you are. Don't give them no more. Don't give them no less. Accept for who they are. Move forward. So it is a stress. It helps you with stress, and that's what DBT does too. It's a tool in DBT, and the reason why I highly encourage all entrepreneurs to go to therapy and tell your therapist, I want you to use DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, on me as a tool for helping me get through this journey. And if they don't know what DBT is, just go, okay, yeah, send them. You go your other way. The reason why is because we are all stressed out as entrepreneurs, and we are all usually stressed out in our that stress from a business standpoint impacts your personal life. Now you mixing business with your personal, and you stressed out. You can't be a good father, you can't be a good husband, you can't be a good boyfriend, you can't be a good nothing, because this area over here ain't right. So yeah, dialectical behavior therapy actually helped me forgive my mother. It helped my father. It helped me forgive past relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Like my mom birthday coming up. Like, and I'm like, yeah, man. I don't usually in the past I've been, I don't want it, she just gonna be. I said, no, I'm gonna celebrate my mom. I know how she is now. Like, she good people. She didn't have access to tools and resources that I have. But I do. I already know. Boom. My dad, same thing. Love you, right? But I love you like I have to love you in the way in which you're able to receive it. So in my personal life.
What about the ones that work 12 to 15 hours a day?
And they like, I can't do therapy?
Like nurses, RNs.
What about them?
Like they work 12 hours a day. So, 5 days, sometimes 6 days. So it's like, they barely have time for themselves. So even, they have time for themselves. Or some people, they work, have 2 jobs to provide for their family, right? What about how can their time management be like more like and it goes back to the burnt out, right? That goes back to that, right? Should that be as much as like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna rest this day? Should that be something like that? Or how can they adjust to that system that you would say accept, or that they have to do that?
So I think I talked about this either a year or 2 years ago, and it's a formula that I have. It's time, like TIME.
Oh yeah, let's go. Yep. Yep.
Skill. So you have
Yep.
TIME with the time, and skill, SKILLS.
Yep.
Your paycheck. And the number one thing that most people do to increase their paycheck is they try to increase their time.
Right.
That's the first thing. So I have this saying where I say 2 jobs for two people, right? But I understand too. Like I live in San Diego, one of the most expensive cities ever. So most people don't have a choice but to have two jobs. And then people always ask me like how do I do it? Because I take care of 2 kids, right? And because what I realized was that you have to. I had to increase my skills. So I'm a huge fan of increasing your skill, not your time. Because your skill, you have more. So for example, here in San Francisco, like nurses get paid a substantial amount of money because of the skills in which they're able to get. So focus on your skill. What skills do you have in which you can increase? So for example, look at this. Let me show you.
Okay. Okay. Now we getting some. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Let's go.
Called the Opportunity Guide. I think one day I was like, yo, I want to buy a Peloton bike. I want to buy a Peloton bike, but I said I'm not using my personal money. I'm not using money for my business. But I can figure out, but I have a product. This product right here, the Opportunity Guide. I also have another book. Do I have another book on me? Yeah, I do. Boom, right here. This book right here. What are you reaching for? I have 2 books.
Sure, y'all get that book. Definitely.
2 books
Definitely.
on Amazon. I got 2 books. And my first thought, because I'm a person who likes to grind, is, yo, I gotta go find a speaking engagement. But a speaking engagement requires time.
Mm.
All people gotta do is go on Amazon, and it don't take. My skill allowed me to write this book. I sell like a few of these books. Boom! I can give myself a Peloton bike. And so I've learned that it's better to increase your skills than your time. A speaking engagement takes my time away. But this right here doesn't take my time away. This right here does not take my time away. Because I increased my skill, it allowed me to write these 2 books. And so and I know people are not, and by the way, this solution is not the solution for everybody. That's just the honest truth. Not gonna work for everybody. I want to acknowledge that. I understand some cities and in towns where they don't have a choice but to work 2 jobs. But I'm challenging you to increase your skill. Increase your skill as opposed to increasing your time. And what does increasing your skill mean? I don't know. Maybe that's you go like in California for sure. All community colleges are free for the first 2 years. You can go like a plumber, like if I was working in the restaurant industry as a server, I would drop that immediately and go to school to be a plumber. You know how much these plumbers cost? Oh my, like I had a plumber come to my house, had to pay him $500. He fixed it in 5 minutes and was like, yeah, here, which form of payment do you want to give? Like,
In
I'm like,
5 minutes.
yeah, because I had to pay for his skill, not his time. I pay for his skill, not his time. But imagine in the restaurant industry to make $500 in tips, you got to be your time. But there are, let's say you want to increase your skill, but you love working in the restaurant industry. Think about a server that touched your heart, that really made you move. Here's a perfect example. What's that place called? Benihana. Benihana makes you increase your skill. They're not regular cooks, right? They gotta learn how to flip that egg in their hat. They gotta learn how to make the little choo-choo train with the rice and stuff like that. And the more skilled you are with entertaining those guests, the bigger your tip. The bigger, because the skill was increased. Not he was gonna cook no matter what. Mm. But the tip depended on what skill level he had. And so I strongly encourage people, because when you increase, I went to school. For me, I get it, college ain't for everybody. However, I'm just saying, at least in California, all the trade schools are now in community colleges. So when people say that, it always throws me off. But I increased my skill. My doctorate, every time I finished the class, my job had to increase my pay. Every time I finished the class, they had to increase my pay. And then now every job that I work in higher education, every time I go for the job, they have to pay me about $2,000 to $4,000 extra because I have a doctorate. My skill went up. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, and really sit down and think about what are some ways you can increase your skill. Like that does not take time away. You know, and nowadays, you gotta understand, I wrote these books before AI came out. Now you can literally pull up your phone and talk, and AI will write the whole book out for you.
Chat GPT.
Yeah, right. Some people gonna get caught out on that stuff though. They're gonna get in trouble a lot with that stuff. Yeah. I give a few more books for people to read only when they are ready. This is a list of books for you to read only when you're ready, okay?
Let's go. Hey, I don't know why you asking me. Just go ahead.
All right, cool. So I got another called this is not mine. This is by Dr. George C. Frazier, Success Runs in Our Race. This book, especially during Black History Month, you want to read this. This right here changed my life too. Right? You trying to find like, okay, well, how can I increase my skills and things like this book right here change your life. Okay, so now let me get this other book right over here. Here's another book I want you to read. Hand to Mouth. live in bootstrap America. This right here talks about exactly what you were just mentioning. Like some people got to work 2-3 jobs to take care of their family. So hand to mouth, right? And it talks about it talks about pretty much like how like it's another book right here called Nickel and Dime, and it talks about how America is set up for some people to stay where they are and some people to advance. And so this right, when you're informed about the tactics that are being used against you to keep you where you are, you're able to fight against it. So that book is gonna do that for you. Let me get some more books for you real quick. The Outliers. Have you read that yet?
Nah.
Life Changing Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Oh, this book right here. This book right here is just life changing in the sense of it just explains everything to you. Like people think that some people make it to the NFL and to all these famous places because like they're so gifted, and they are to a certain extent. But he gives an example of how sometimes depending on what month you were born depends on whether or not you're gonna make it to the NFL. And like what how in the world does that? They said because if you're born during certain times, you get an extra year of working out, practicing, and stuff like that. Same thing with hockey. I was like, oh, step, I did not know that. Let me get you another book right here. Ooh, I got a bunch of books. And these are, by the way, I've read these books. Atomic Habits.
Yes. Yep. About that book. Yeah. That's good.
Get your habits, right? Y'all talking about habits. Get your habit on there. Oh, here's another book I highly encourage Black women to read. I'm Not Yelling.
I'm not yelling. That's good.
Yep, a Black woman's guide to navigating the workspace, right? Because as soon as we talk with any type of authority, they're like, oh, you're aggressive, right? So I want y'all to do that. Ooh. For those in higher education, Ratchetdemics.
Ratchetdemics. Wow.
Ratchet.
That's okay. I like the title of that too. Ratchetdemics.
Chris Emden. Oh, he's fired. Like he's like, oh man, he got this other book called something. Oh no, I forgot. He called people out. But anyway, those are some of the books in which one last book. This is very important. I'm gonna stop right here. No, that's just that's my research book. No, not my research. All about Love by Bell Hooks. Oh, I lied. Y'all got to get this book. This book you got to get. By the way, I've read all these books. For those of you who are struggling with finances, this is why you're broke. You need this book right
here.
Yo,
that's my guy. Yeah. I know. Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah.
Fire.
That's my guy.
You like, yeah. All your stuff sound good, but you're not talking to the. This is why you're broke. You need to get that.
Yeah. He be going in. He be going in.
What? Brass Knuckle Finance is the 3rd edition.
Yeah, he be going in. Yeah, he be going in. Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
So those are all books. Like first of all, what I recommend for some people to start at, I'll be honest with you, is the books that deal with money. Reason why is because it's hard to focus on anything else when your stomach is grumbling.
And that's the bar.
Yeah, like, and that's the honest truth. Like, all this motivational stuff is good, but when you don't know how you're gonna pay your light bill and you're struggling, like, it's no podcast that can help you like that. Like, you gotta really sit down and look at your finances. What are you spending money on? Like, I'm a huge believer. One of my students, I'll tell you this is the honest truth. When I used to work at a college here in San Diego, every day after work, I would stay like 2 hours after just talking to everybody about money. And I helped like my whole office get their finances in order. And by the way, I was learning too by reading books and stuff. And one of the students like, hey, Sade, I know you always talk about money. And like, I'm in debt. I need help. And I said, let me check this out. See, with me, if I give you some tips, if I give you like advice and you don't take it, like you don't use it, I just don't give you no more because you wasting time. You need to take it from the table, boom. You need to. So she said, yeah, I know how you are, Sade, So I sit down with her we going through her finances and everything. And when I looked through her finances, she had Netflix, Hulu. She was eating at Subway. So what the hell you doing watching TV? You owe people money. She said, what? I said, you should not be watching TV and you owe people money. This is crazy. So yeah, but Sade, I need to de-stress. I need to relax. Relax? Go for a walk. Girl, you live in San Diego. Go to the beach. Like, go put your feet in the water. Why you need to watch Netflix? She took all my advice. Pandemic hit. Then the pandemic hit. As soon as the pandemic hit, they start getting that money from the employers. In California, they would just boom, all kind of money coming out. We came back to work like 2021. She said, hey, Sade, I'm out of debt. She was like $17,000 in debt. She said, Sade, I'm out of debt. I cut off everything you told me to do. I stopped eating out. So not only did I do that, I lost weight and the money. Like, I used all the money that they was giving us from California, like all this extra money. She said, I paid off everything. It's all done. I said, perfect. To this day, she's still not in debt. And all I did was take principles from these 2 books. And then, oh shoot, I hope I still got it. But I downloaded his PDF too. So all of that to say that get your finances in order by first, and be careful. And I shouldn't say, I ain't gonna say people's name, but be careful with people who talk about snowball methods and all that other stuff. Go ahead and talk to some people who are real. He curses at you and everything.
He yells at you.
Yeah. Like, and the book is easy to read. Like, look at this. Like, it's not like a whole bunch of it's like, it's easy to read. Like this guy was brilliant. You know, all those memes that he posts on IG?
Yeah.
All he did is turn them into books. Yo, that's so brilliant.
Yeah, definitely.
All he does is take him. And then he was smart too. Instead of putting his book in color, he put that sucker in black and white. That's smart. Like, look, this is not hard to read.
Because of him, I was car smart too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, take advantage of that. So I'm assuming that the people who listen to you are people who are, they want to learn. They want to improve their life and stuff like that. So, yeah, let me give people the best way to contact me. So if they do need help really with the burnout thing, they really need help with finding out, how to have increasing their skill. I want to give them my contact. Is that okay?
Go ahead. That's fine. Of course.
So you can email me at Sade, SADE at SadeBurrell.com. So that's Sade, SADE at SadeBurrell.com. You can email me there. You can hit me up on IG at Sade Burrell. Those are the 2 best ways to get in contact with me. If you're like, hey, you know what? I'm ready to take it to. Oh, by the way, I'm not selling anything. It's all free. I just get a kick out of supporting and helping other people, because I know I wouldn't be where I'm at without the love and support of other people. So I don't charge nobody nothing for doing that. This is how dare I charge people for what was given to me for free. Yeah.
Let's go. So we're about to close out, y'all. So Jupiter has 2 questions, and then I'm gonna ask you what is emotional intelligence to you, and how did you I'm gonna get to that. So and then after that, we're gonna close out. What's your final thoughts, and how can people reach you and everything? So first question, have you ever walked away from an opportunity because they were not offering to pay you the amount you are qualified and skilled enough to receive?
It's a 2-part answer. The simple answer is yes. But had you asked me this a few years ago, the answer was no. I would take everything. Like I said, when I first started speaking, I was speaking for free, and then I went up to $10 gift cards. Then I went up to $100, $200, $300, $400. It started going up and up and up. And the reason why I started going up and up and up is because people started to recognize my skill. I surrounded myself with individuals who were like, yo, I can't believe you're doing that for $400. And I shared this story before years ago, one time, and this is years ago. So this man does not charge his price anymore. He charges way more now. But I was speaking at SDSU, and this man named oh man, he gonna kill me. But they asked me to come out and speak, and they were like, "Hey, Sade, your video changed my life. Like, like I had cancer. It helped me make it through cancer. Like I'm here now." And then and he said another person who changed my life was Eric Thomas. He said, "So we trying to bring Eric Thomas out, and we want you to come out too." I said, "Oh, okay, cool." They said, "Sade, how much do you charge?" I said, 500. Man, he must have sent me that contract so fast, and I signed it. So then, man, I love my man. I love it. He cool people. Love him to death. He said, you want to serve on the committees? We trying to get ET here. I said, sure, I serve on the committee. So not only did I say I charged 500, but then I also got on a committee, and I found out how much ET was charging, and his was like way higher than mine. I said, I wonder what gave him the audacity to charge that much. His belief in himself. His belief in himself and his belief in in the skill in which he was going to offer. And so I remember from that day, I said, I'll never charge that least amount ever again. So then I just started charging 1,500, then 200. So I've accepted less because I did not know my worth, and I did not know, I didn't have knowledge of it. But the moment that I was equipped with knowledge, I now no longer do. So like, for example, my former college that I used to work at, I knew they couldn't afford. There's no way that I used to work in that district. There's no way they would pay me the amount of money in which I know that I'm entitled to as someone who has this skill level, this expertise, etc. They weren't gonna give it to me. And so I have this saying that, like, if you can't pay my fee, I'd rather do it for free. And so if I'm able to do it for free, it was in San Diego. It wasn't too far from me. I wanted to say hi to some people anyway. So I said, yeah, I'll just do it. I'm already at work. I was gonna come here regardless. So it's not taking any time or effort or anything away from me. Yeah, I'll do it for free, no problem. So I did it for free because it's more of an insult for me to do it for 500 than it is for me to do it for free. Because if my fee is 10 and you charging me 5, word gets out, Sade does 5, which is why I don't book through myself anymore either. I stopped booking through me because everyone has a story to tell. And I'm like, yeah, because at the end of the day, I'm a social worker at heart. All of my degrees are in social work with the exception of my doctorate. So at heart, I'm like, oh, dang, these kids really need me. Yeah, I'll do it for free. And so I don't book my own, but it's certain people. There's certain people that can reach out to me, and I'll be like, yeah, say less. I say less. I'll do it. Right? It's people who I consider family. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. Say less. All the stuff you've done for me. But now what I do is I do not do anything less than what I believe I'm worth. How do I know what I'm worth? Because my fee went up to 10K and then 20K. How do I know I'm worth 10K, 20K? Because someone was able to pay it for me and the check did not bounce.
Let's go. All right, second question, Jupiter. As a mom, how do you ensure your motherly duties are taken care of while also taking action in your career and staying in the feminine energy?
First of all, let me say we are. I don't really like answering questions like this because on social media we are so caught up in this gender war stuff.
Well, the masculine energy and the feminine energy type of stuff you're saying.
Get into that because you gotta understand, like for example, like who I am as a mother is not who I am like right here on this. Like, my kid would not want to live with me if I was like this all the time to them, right? Who I am as a spouse is not who I am on this podcast, right? Every section of my life requires a different version of who I am, and they get that. The one thing I can say is that it's more important for me to create peace in my house. As a mother, it's instilled in me to love my children, to love the people who love me. That goes out. And so y'all, you got to be careful with these energy wars and stuff that they be having. The only energy that goes on in my house is peace. That's it. So that's all.
A ball.
That's
it. That's a ball.
It's just peace. So as a mother, I'm sure if you talk like my kids, I love my kids. And I think that when to see me in the element of being a mother is actually it's a gift. One, because my kids, they're not as like open in public as I am. They wouldn't do their own interviews. They don't do none of that. But anyone who ever sees me as a mother, I'm telling you, the energy is a whole lot different. Why? Because that section of my life requires that.
Mm, mm. Okay, that's a ball. That's a ball. That's a ball. All right. So last question. Well, if, Jupiter, if you have any more questions, well, if you have shot, I'm pretty sure you do have Sade Burrell. So definitely contact her and everything. So last question I'm gonna say is talk about emotional intelligence.
Yeah. So emotional intelligence, right? Being able to regulate, your feelings, right? Being able to be able to communicate them, to be able to use them in a way to where it is not self-destruction. That is something that I believe I struggled with in my younger days, especially because emotional intelligence was not something that was taught to me. Instead, emotional intelligence is something I had to learn, right? So I had to learn how to regulate my emotions to a point where, my mentor tells me, she said, don't react, respond.
Mm,
And so my first thing is to always react to things as opposed to responding. So an example of that would be there are some. Let's go back to that question I was asked, and I know he and me, but like there are sometimes people they Sade, your energy is the reaction me you out of your mind, you want to tell me. The response is every level of my life requires a different version of me.
the
Right?
tone. Yeah.
Right. I'm changing. It's like it everyone does not get an opportunity to see every emotion from me, but you get to see the regulated emotion from me depending on who you are. My children get to see every part of me. Yeah, right. My significant other, he can see every part of me, every part of me. And so for me, emotional intelligence is something that is not often talked about in certain community. And I can't even say the Black community, because I think that this is you talk to the Asian community, they'll tell you their parents don't really talk to them about that, right? You talk to Latino community, right? They'll tell you like my dad never. Boom. You talk even to the African community. It's funny. Like my friend should be like, "Yeah, I love you," to her dad, and he'll say, "Thank you." Right? Like this is a human thing where we're so out of tune with how we feel with our emotions that we can't express them, or we inappropriately express them. And so we have to learn what exactly is emotional intelligence. And to me, that is regulate my emotions so I can learn how to respond as opposed to reacting.
Is it that's really like the same thing as like when you're saying it to your significant other, like your tone and being respectful is definitely like important.
Right. So like for me, I know that I cannot just go and yelling and screaming at my spouse because he don't like that. He takes it as disrespectful. I'm like, I'm just talking. I'm just doing it. And my immature self, but I'm just talking. See, that's what's wrong. Versus me saying, oh, okay, you're communicating that you don't want to be talked to like that. And so
Hmm.
I have to respect what you're asking of me. And that's it. There's no other justification.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay.
Yeah. So I want to talk about a saying that happens too, and it's kind of tied into emotional intelligence. They say treat people the way you want to be treated. I don't always agree with that. Um, because when we lack emotional intelligence, we don't even know how we want to be treated. And so, if you have been treated bad, I seen this thing that said, who said it? One of the comedians said it, and I kind of agree with it. And again, you got to be careful with this because this gets into a gender war. But he said, no man wants to be a woman's first good man.
Mm.
And I said that first, right? Emotional intelligence is this is what's wrong with the world. And then that's reacting. Responding is let me let that marinate. Okay. Why would you not? Oh, because all the stuff you got to go through in order for that person to trust you. to believe in you because they lack emotional intelligence. So when they come to you and you have that mature level of emotional intelligence and you're the first person that they've ever met with that, it's very hard for the relationship to continue because they lack that, right? And so for me, I think that when you have emotional intelligence and you begin to treat when people don't have emotional intelligence and you treat them the way that they want to, now you're reacting as opposed to responding to them. You could be the example as to how it's okay for you. This is how I will. Let me verbally tell you how I want to be treated, and then boom. Some people don't know how they want to be treated, right? Love people the way they want to be loved. No, you should not. No, I mean, love people the way that you want to be loved. No, you should not love people the way that you want to. We are two separate individuals. That's why they got the 5 love languages, because
Mm.
you might want to be loved through hugs and kisses and touch, and I want money. It doesn't make me a bad person. I'd rather some nice perfume, a nice expensive dinner. Like that's what I want. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. Or sometimes the other spouse might want affirmation. Like if I walk down with a beautiful blue.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh,
There you go.
okay.
Sorry about that.
We
Sorry
go.
about
We
that.
we in.
But if
We
I
in.
have a blue dress on, some heels on, I done put some effort into how I look, and you don't say nothing, but you give me expensive perfume, I I don't want to be. I want the affirmation. So again, like that's what emotional intelligence really allows us to be able to understand. And I also have a book on that too. That's one of the big ones. Here it is, right here. Tell you, I got a book on everything, boy.
Emotional intelligence 2.0.
Everything. Like
Yeah.
I'm constantly like learning, and then with this book, you actually take a test, like to learn a little bit more about your emotional intelligence and how you are, right? Social awareness, right? Social awareness strategy talks about, right? Relationship management strategies, like it talks about self-awareness strategies, which most people lack, self-management strategies. And so if you need that, oh, shining your life. Yeah, I got a lot of books to really help me through. But yeah, yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. And another thing also
Oh, hold
I
on,
would
man.
say,
You muted. I can't hear you.
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I don't know why I can't hear you.
I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me? Y'all can hear me, right? Y'all can hear me? Y'all can hear me? Uh-oh. All right. So she gonna come back on. So as I was saying, right? So um shout out to Sade Burrell. She was doing she's gonna come back on and everything, but also another thing also is about when you talking to, like, when you have a job, when you're talking to your bosses, right? When you're talking to your bosses, how you have some bosses that are assholes. I'm gonna just say it like that, right? That are a-holes. That be like da 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 da. And then after, sometimes you be like, yo, I don't know, yo, watch who you talking to, da da da. But then, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes in a professional way, we be like, no problem, copy that.
Right.
Okay, copy. Okay, yeah. Would you like it this way? Would you like it this way? Because this is our job, even though sometimes, we don't like to be the way how we treated but we do have some bosses like that, and that's where the boundaries comes into place. Um, that's another thing of emotional intelligence.
And I think that sometimes people confuse emotional intelligence with code switching. Um,
Mm,
they'll say, "Well, this is who I am. Well, I got to change up." So, for example, I had this one of my um, I'm mentoring her right now, and she was at work, standing on top of a table, screaming at people. And she said, "Well, I just feel like I can't be my authentic self." I said, "No, everyone does not get to see every part of who you are. Like, like everyone does not get to see me as a mother. Everyone does not get to see me as a professor. Everyone does. I don't know what I'm saying. Everyone does not get to see me as whatever stage of it. Every situation calls for and these are all part of who I am.
mm,
And so when the boss is yelling and screaming, I'm just like, oh, okay. But that, okay, like first of all, you don't have to be around people who are talking to you like this, which is why you
Facts.
still got to increase, right? When they talking to you like that, when you put yourself in a predicament where you're like, oh, okay, this be the last day you ever see me, you
Facts.
get a 2 hour notice, like, and that's when you kindly say, that's when you type up the most like phenomenal resignation letter ever, telling them like, I just want to let you know that as of now, this is I will not be contributing to the values mission of this particular company. If exit interview is needed, I would be more than happy to provide the company with feedback about how they can sustain future employees, and you move on, right? But I
That's
understand
it.
it's not that easy. But I'd rather you do that than for you to cuss them out. And now they
Mm.
calling you all kind of microaggressions that they love to do.
Yep.
Oh,
And make it look like you the bad person.
yeah,
Facts.
especially for black men. Like for black men, y'all can't yell because y'all already, you walk in the room, they already intimidated by you. This is what someone said to me. They said, "Am I intimidating, or are you intimidated by me? Because it's a difference. Am I intimidating, or are you intimidated by me?" They are intimidated by black men when they walk into the space, and then you put on top of that, you like, hey, you can't talk to me like that. Oh, I was just so scared for my life. You said what? Scared for your life? You don't want to see me turn up, right? And so emotional intelligence allows you to regulate that inside, because we all got an inner person. I don't know about you, but back in the day when I used to go to the club, I had a club name, right?
Mm.
Club name, it was a different alter ego that I had, right? But when I went home, I wasn't. That's why Beyonce got her little Sasha, and then she got the Beyonce. Beyonce shy, Sasha ain't, right? And so that's what we all gotta have in us. We got that. We got this. Don't let don't let that club, and don't let that club
Alter
Sade,
ego.
and now the boss gets to see that side of me. No, you don't get to see that.
Yeah, same thing. How for like for me, I have a hood side. Yeah, because I definitely have a hood side, and I do type like if you get me mad, my New York accent starts to come out. People always say that from it'll be like, oh, your hood language comes out. I'll be like, I mean, that's when you get me. But um shout out to Phonetic Wisdom when she said you got to be able to flow with energy that we all have access to, and that's that's the bar. That's on Instagram Live. I can't I but yeah, shout out to that. But we about to get off, y'all. Any final thoughts, Sade Burrell? I do definitely do appreciate you. See incentives. Yeah, like we gonna keep moving. We gonna keep moving, definitely. But any final thoughts? What you have to say? How can they follow you? Just everything. How can they purchase your books, and what do you need help with?
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate you. You definitely family to me. You already know if you ever need anything, I'm just a phone call away. I much love and much respect for you. It makes me, it warms my heart to know that you still doing the podcast, because I watch the interviews, and we need this. So keep doing it. There are a lot of people out there watching you. Um, I would say the only resource that I would need is I just need y'all to continue supporting this podcast. That's it. Because again, when I listen to the knowledge and gems and stuff that y'all dropping, I see the how y'all moving and stuff like that. I love it. So that's all I ask people, and then share this with 10 people. Share this in 10 people who you believe this can help, right? Just shoot it on over to them. If they got a long drive, we got this interview about an hour and a half. They can just listen to this interview, right? And so how can they get in contact with me? On IG at Sade Burrell, SadeBurrell, or you can email me too at Sade, SADE at SadeBurrell.com. You can purchase my books. The first one, What Are You Reaching For? You can get that one on Amazon, and you can order it. And then the second one, you can actually go to my website, Sade Burrell, and you can order it there as well.
Definitely, yo. Thank you for that. It's the way how time moves. Like when I first, like, you motivated me when I was in college, and Beats Were Loaded had the YouTube channel. You was like something about it's not denied, and you had 3 videos. That's why I was like, all right, let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go. That's when I was in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
That's
go.
fire.
And
Fire.
yeah, that's definitely powerful. But definitely have a day, Sade Burrell, and definitely support Sade Burrell, and we definitely do appreciate you. But yeah, that's the ending of this podcast, y'all. DC Incentives, we are ouch. Sade, quick question.